This program is powered by
F Productions.
Welcome to the STNET Transponder, episode
7, recorded on May 26, 2013. In this episode, Star Trek Into Darkness, trailers, TV spots, and images. Also, Star Trek Online, Legacy of Romulus. And finally, Voyager Remastered. Welcome to episode 7 of the STNET Transponder, a prequel to our Star Trek Into Darkness review. But first I'd like to start with this disclaimer. In this episode we will avoid all news topics that contain spoilers about the movie. For this information I'd like to direct you to the TrekMovie.com and TrekNews.net websites. Reason for this is that the movie has not yet launched in the Netherlands. This movie release will be on June 6th.
I'm only in the mood for good news today.
Critics agree nothing compares to the darkness.
Have I got your attention now?
It's spectacular.
Let's go get this guy.
The first summer movie that's crazy good.
Fire now!
Star Trek Into Darkness, rated PG-13.
You just heard one of the many trailers released in the previous month. There were a total of 15 new trailers released. Here's the list. First off, the TV trailers. Chosen, Run, The Dark, The Future, Reputation, Vendetta and World. There were also 4 new international trailers released. And 4 new TV spots. Battle, Forget, Spectacular and The Dark. This was all before the release of the new movie.
You think Earth is safe? It is not. Have I got your attention now?
He's a traitor and I want to take him out.
You are a pawn, Kirk. Sent to be sacrificed.
I will make you answer for what you did.
Shall we begin?
Fire now!
Star Trek Into Darkness, rated PG-13.
Further on, there were also 3 new 8-bit images released, 2 of them animated. These 8-bit images bring you back in time. And a lot of fun to see the new Enterprise in this kind of style of graphics. TrekNews.net did also an article about fan-made movie posters. These posters were originally submitted as a part of the artist project on Blurpy. Go to the link in the show note to watch all these great movie posters.
Hi, I'm Alice Eve, narrator of the audiobook Star Trek Into Darkness. My grandfather used to watch it at 5:20 on a Saturday afternoon, the original series, and then obviously I'd seen JJ's version, the 2009, which I thought was a great film. Acting in the film was much, much easier than narrating the audiobook. I've actually quite enjoyed narrating the audiobook though, but it's definitely tiring on your voice, which I suppose I had anticipated. The audiobook we've done in a studio with very little movement, and the film was a very active, big, grand, collaborative experience. So they're polar opposites, I suppose. I imagine what it's like to be a teacher when you have to read aloud to the young children, which I also like to do. So all in all, it's been incredibly positive.
You just heard the introduction to the audiobook of Star Trek Into Darkness, narrated by Alice Eve. This book is available for download or on a CD. Also, pre-order the Special Blu-ray edition of the Star Trek Into Darkness movie. This edition includes a full-size Starfleet phaser prop. The Blu-ray disc includes a 2D and 3D version of the movie. Just order it with the link in our show notes. Star Trek Into Darkness hits also the franchise roof, with earning $31.7 million in the first 7 days of the release of the movie. This is spread over 7 markets in 7 different countries. This return is 70% higher than its predecessor made in 2009, setting new opening franchise records in each market. Last but not least, NASA partnered up with Paramount for a Google Plus Hangout with the Star Trek Into Darkness writer-producer Damon Lindelof and the stars of Star Trek Into Darkness. Also with astronauts from the ISS. This hangout took 1 hour and it's a lot of fun to watch. Also if you want to know more about Star Trek Into Darkness and NASA's future projects. Just go to a link in our show notes and here's a small piece of it.
Now, my understanding is that you have the population of the ISS right now is yourself and 2 others, and they are Russians. Is that correct?
That's right. Pavel and Sasha, we flew up in the Soyuz together at the end of March there, and we'll go home together in September. And so we're a 3-person crew. We stayed together the whole 6 months, and then the other Soyuz just rotated out, as I mentioned, and one was coming up. I got a question for one of you guys, whoever wants to answer. There's commercial companies coming online. Would you ever, if money was not an object, would you ever buy a ticket and come up and visit?
Yeah. Yes,
I'm in.
100%.
Done. I'm in.
We'll see you on Friday.
I would love to go to space.
Okay, very good. I just emptied out 2. We have 4 sleeping quarters here in the U.S. side of the space station. There's 2 on the Russian side, and there's 2 vacancies right now. So whoever can rush to a rocket first, you got a place to sleep.
Probably.
Oh, wow.
It's very flattering.
I'll be of use for life.
I have a question, may I?
Please do.
Just this is dovetailing on Chris's question, but I have a 5-year-old son, and if he tells me one day he wants to be an astronaut, what classes should I tell him not to fall asleep during?
I think the class that teaches you how to be a nice person. Don't fall asleep in that one. We don't want people that are jerks to come up here in space station. All the rest of the stuff we can train for.
Good call, Chris.
Good call.
You were most certainly not asleep in that class, quite clearly.
Chris, can we just keep on asking?
Yeah.
Chris, so what do you guys spend most of your days doing? What do you have certain mission parameters for this tour in space? Is it experiments, or is it what is it exactly?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, my time and all of the crewmates' time is something that the ground manages, and the program managers and the decision makers really allocate our time as if it was a budget. And how that gets broken down, there's lots that goes into that, but basically the things that we do are we maintain the space station. We need the place to be functioning well so that it can support all the science that goes on. But the main mission of the space station is science. It's a national, it's a research laboratory, and so that's our number one thing is the ability to execute these experiments. Now, I already described to you that astronauts come in all shapes and sizes, and all of us are not really research scientists ourselves. I'm not. So what we do is we serve as subjects, or we implement the procedure, the experiment and usually the principal investigator, the actual scientist, is on the other end of the radio, and with a video, we have a video camera overlooking our shoulder, and we'll be doing the things with that scientist to give him the best, he or she, the best science that we can deliver.
I do have a question for you guys, which is, obviously, here we are now in the year 2013. If you were to just close your eyes and imagine what is the future of the space program, or just mankind's sort of experience with the world around us and the world beyond, where do you think we're going to be in 20 years that we aren't now?
Well, I think one of the things, personally, I would love to see us to go on to Mars. I think that's been a target for humanity for a long time, to see this beautiful red planet. You can see it in the sky, see it through a telescope, and now beautiful pictures coming from Curiosity and all of the rovers that we've had out there. But more importantly, I think that projects like that, and projects like the International Space Station, will what an amazing thing to bring countries together from all over the world to work on a peaceful project that's dedicated to science, to investigation, to research, to making life better on the Earth, and not individually working against each other. I mean, we have a team of nations now that were mortal enemies 40, 50, 60 years ago, and now we're working together to a common goal. And so continued work like that, I think, is the most important thing. But to work together to a project, to get to Mars, to get to another planet, and maybe for a permanent stay there, that would be an incredible thing.
More Star Trek Into Darkness in next month's podcast. This will also be the review of Star Trek Into Darkness. Stay tuned.
What we knew is gone. Our home, our lives, all that we were, dust. Blasted across empty, heartless skies. But we live. Our legacy lives within every ship we fly, upon every world we touch, in our hearts, in yours. There will be challenge. You will know fear, but you will overcome. You will survive and answer vengeance with blood. You will do as you must. Rule cannot be handed to the faithless. Our legacy cannot be lost to villains. Bury the past to face the future. In enemies, find allies. There is no price we have not paid, no loss we have not felt. Our dead world, our long suffering, these are not ends. We are not ended. For your crew, for your people, for this new home, we must face all doubt. We must break the strong who would destroy us and overcome the impossible. We must fight against any and all. We must, we will, for we are Romulan.
You are the legacy of Romulus. On May 21th, Cryptic released his first expansion to Star Trek Online, Legacy of Romulus. Play as a Romulan or Rerun and start your adventure in the Empire. Also, this expansion features a complete new UI, updated missions and many more. Go for the release notes to our show notes. Also, Cryptic is rerunning the future episodes. Play all 4 episodes as a Romulan or as another species and earn special rewards. This rerun will run until June 21. And now to other news. With the link in the show notes, read the complete article released by TrekCore. This article goes about the remastering of Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. A key difference between remastering the Next Generation, which is currently in progress, is that all model shots were done with models and not CGI. In the later seasons of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager, models were done by CGI. These files containing the models and their positions in every episode were presumed to be lost. But now Robert Bershune, who worked on all 3 of the post-TNG spin-offs, has mentioned in an interview that he still has the files. Remastering Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager will be a lot easier now. When this will happen is not yet known. Again, with the link in the show notes, read the complete article released by TrekCore. And this brings us already to the end of this podcast. We have no Gadget of the Month this month. Next month we'll make it up to you. We release the STNET Transponder on every last Sunday of the month. For more information and links, go to our show notes on our website. We are also looking for your opinions and tips to improve our podcast. Send your feedback to mail@stnet.nu. Until next month for our Star Trek Into Darkness movie review.
The STNET Transponder. Get a download on demand. www.stnet.nu. Connect by RSS, Facebook and YouTube. Podcast music by DAG. The Star Trek and related marks are trademarks of CBS Paramount.